Hello, today we are going to explore a topic that seems almost philosophical in the context of supply chain management, but also one that is quite practical and has become a reality. Is there a supply chain of digital goods? In the times we live in, digital products have become the norm. For instance, consider the movie you streamed last night, the software update on your phone, the ebook you downloaded, or the games you play on your phone or console. All of these intangible products appear instantly once you hit download. There is no truck to transport it, no warehouse shelf, and no physical delivery to your door. With this in mind, is there a real and manageable supply chain behind them? The simple answer is a definitely yes. However, this supply chain is an invisible one to end users of these digital products, but a tangible reality to the teams managing their delivery to your devices. Ideally, we can consider it a high speed global digital pipeline that manages flows or data information, intellectual property, and access rights. Over the next few minutes, we will make this invisible pipeline visible from a supply chain management lens by exploring how it fits into the supply chain management framework, the challenges involved, and look at a classic example. In the end, we will be able to see that supply chain management principles are just as relevant in a world without physical inventory. Defining the digital supply chain. Let us build our foundation with a clear definition. At its heart, supply chain management is as defined by leading scholars like Menzer, the strategic coordination of business functions across a network of companies to improve the long-term performance of both the individual companies and the chain as a whole. Now, apply that to a digital good. The raw material is not steel or lumber, but intellectual property that includes lines of code, musical recordings, manuscripts, text, and video footage, among others. The manufacturing is the act of copying data bits, and this costs almost nothing since we are replicating a copy of a digital product. This premise changed the entire focus for a SCM perspective. In this case, the digital supply chain can be defined as a coordinated network that manages the upstream and the downstream flows of information, intellectual property, financial value, and most importantly, user access rights from the original source to the end customer. We are not managing the scarcity of physical items. We are engineering the reliability and instantaneity of access on a global scale. This change is less about moving things and more about enabling and guaranteeing flawless experience and access. The five pillars of digital pipeline. To understand this, we can map it onto a traditional SCM framework, such as the five key steps of planning, sourcing, making, delivering, and handling returns. First, digital planning and design. This involves forecasting not just how many units to make, but predicting demand for new software features, the virality of content and the required server capacity to prevent crashes during peak loads. Second, digital sourcing and procurement. This is about acquiring the raw materials. That means sourcing intellectual property through licensing deals, procuring developer talent, and contracting for cloud infrastructure from providers like Amazon or Microsoft Azure. Third, digital manufacturing. This is the software development lifecycle, content creation in studios, and rigorous quality assurance testing. Fourth, digital logistics and delivery. This is where content delivery networks or CDNs become the superstars. A company like Netflix does not stream a movie from one server in California. It uses a global CDN to cache that movie on thousands of edge servers worldwide. When you press play, it comes from a server physically near you, thus minimizing delay. This is the digital equivalent of positioning inventory in regional warehouses for one-day delivery. Finally, the digital returns and support. This includes handling software version updates, which are like a product recall and upgrade combined, managing subscriptions, cancellations, and providing tech support. Most importantly, every step of this intangible process relies on a massive, very physical backbone of data centers, undersea cables, and energy grids. Unique challenges in the digital chain. Managing this pipeline comes with a unique set of challenges that keep digital operations managers awake at night. First, capacity and flash demand. When a new game demo drops or a celebrity tweets a link, demand can go from zero to millions of users in seconds. A physical retailer might sell out, but a digital service must not crash. This requires hyper scalable, elastic infrastructure. Second, inventory management. Our inventory is conceptual. How many user licenses do we use? How do we manage different software versions branches? How do we control digital rights to prevent unauthorized copy? Third, cybersecurity and piracy. This is arguably the largest operational risk. We are not worried about shoplifters. We are defending against global hacking collective and rampant piracy, which requires massive continuous investments in security as a core cost of doing business. Fourth, geopolitical and regulatory hurdles. Data is now subject to border controls. Laws like the GDPR in Europe dictate where a citizen's personal data can be stored and processed. This forces companies to create region-specific digital warehouses, adding immense complexity to the supply chain design. Finally, the cost structure is inverted. Billions are spent upfront on development and server farms. After that, serving one more customer costs almost nothing, and this overturns traditional inventory, holding costs and economies of scale model completely. Case in point, a global music stream. Let us make this concrete with a service we all likely use, like Spotify, YouTube Music, or Apple Music. The same also applies to film and software. But for now, let us consider music. The journey of a single song to your ear is a classic example of digital supply chain management. It starts with sourcing. Spotify's procurement team negotiates complex licensing and royalty agreements with record labels and independent artists who are their key suppliers. The raw material, the master recording, is then put into a digital warehouse, such as cloud servers. Here, it is encoded into multiple file formats for different internet speeds. Then comes distribution. Spotify and other content streaming services use CDN providers. When you click play in Dallas, your request does not travel to a central server in Stockholm. Instead, it is routed to a local edge server in Texas that has a cached copy of that song. This is logistics precision for data packets. The last mile delivery is your app seamlessly retrieving the file and playing. There is also an extra step where Spotify's recommendation engines acts as an AI-powered demand planner. It analyzes large amounts of listening data to create personalized playlists, which keeps you engaged and effectively optimizes the flow of its most critical asset, user attention and listening time. This entire system, delivering millions of unique streams simultaneously, is not based on magic, but is the result of carefully managed digital operations. Conclusion. To return to our initial research question, is there a supply chain of digital goods? Absolutely. It is a high-speed, globally distributed operational network. And while the physical inventory boxes do not exist, the core principles of operations management remain. Sourcing, capacity planning, warehouse location, distribution optimization, and last mile delivery. We simply apply them to a new set of assets. Looking ahead, the digital supply chain will only continue to evolve. Technologies and trends such as generative AI are beginning to automate content creation and customer service, while virtual reality technology allows companies to create virtual simulations of experiences that will transform the range and type of digital goods and experiences offered. Also, as every physical product from cars to refrigerators becomes a connected device, it will require its own digital supply chain for software updates, thus merging the physical and the digital worlds completely. Therefore, as future OM experts and business managers, our task is to see, understand, and optimize these invisible pipelines. They are no longer a niche IT concern, but a central part of the modern digital economy, and mastering them is a key competitive advantage.